This is a great old book, and you'll notice I left it just the way it is because I love this gold embossed title square here. This is a block, the tin flute. And all I've done is I've added some gold beading that I strung just to give it a little bling, and I added these book slide corners onto it to protect the corners and give it some oomph. So I've kept the title page in here, just added some ribbon. This is from an old botanical book. And on the other side of it, I've added a little journaling tag for you to write on, front and back, always front and back of everything. I've hand dyed a lot of the journaling pages in here to give you extra space. And I've put in some old invoices in here for you to journal on. And this particular pocket here, which you can use front and back, is made out of an old engineering book. And it's all mounted onto an old farmer's magazine. It tells you all about vegetables, such. This is a great old photograph. I'm hoping it's two sisters. I think it's fantastic. I actually got it from an estate sale. There were two of these, so I kept one for me and my sister to put in my own personal journal. And on the back, of course, I used to make them into postcards that they could easily send them to family and friends. So I just think that's so fun. And we have an index page here of a music book. And then this is an old sewing pattern instruction sheet. More little journaling spots here on an old vintage music sheet. And this is a great little, probably from the 50s. We've moved card. So you were sent these out to all your family and friends after you've moved, but lots of spots to journal in there. So I think that's really fun. That gets tucked in back there. And then inside, there's more little index cards to journal on. And then over here, there's a double tuck pouch that I've made out of old dictionary page. So I've made these pretty little inserts here for you to journal on. Another little music sheet page. And I've done a lot of hand stamping just to give it some vintage Victorian feels. Another sewing pattern from the Vogue pattern. Here's a great old postcard. Look at that. Isn't that great? And of course you can journal on the back of that. This particular one is from New York. There we go. Another old music sheet from an old book. And there's my apologies. I'm so sorry. I even kept the carbon paper in that one. Isn't that fun? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna keep going. There's a fun bunch of pages to journal on, and I love this sewing pattern. Look at these skirts, they're amazing. And the great thing about this is you can tuck in all kinds of things there yourself. So I've left that intact there for you to keep lots of papers in there. This is another page out of that great bird book from the 50s. More journaling spots. This is not old, but I did add it because it's got some great little tucked away spots and it has a little bit of a vintage feel. And then here's an envelope that I've aged and added some journaling spots to. And you can tuck more in there as well. And that's on the back of an old bookkeeping classroom page, an instructional book. And this is from the back page or the back cover of an old invoice stack. You know, the kind that waitresses used to take your orders on. Super old. I made this tag here with this little insert, which is a little bit stuck there. I'm going to pop that off. And I made that with some stamps and old dictionary page flowers. And look at these great tassels. Aren't they fun? I should give you a discount on this because this video is a disaster. And here's an old dictionary page that I turned into a card. And I like the word here that says lead. I think that's really great. But there's lots of spots to journal in there. And this came out of a little inspirational book. I liked the image on that. And more journaling pages. Just a very soft peonies image there. Lots of journaling spots here. And there is a McCall's Needlework Annual for 1950. This came out of a 1950s fashion magazine, which I love. Look at this great Small busted women ads. Love it. And this is from an old cookbook. And this is from an old botanical book. It's actually a book all about Canadian trees, which I love. And we have some very delicate paper here that was hand typed on. It's a story, and this would have been the carbon copy of that. And then I've made a pouch here out of an old book, and the trim is done with an old music sheet, and you can see lots of little tuck spots in behind here, up front and behind. Add your own papers as well to there. And here's another old postcard. This one's of Queen Elizabeth and her corgis. Isn't that fun? And you can journal on the back of that one. And that is mounted onto another cookbook. I'm just gonna leave that there. Before I drop my camera again. And oh, look how hilarious that's from that cookbook again. I believe that's a hot dog page. This is just awful, but it's hilarious. I love it. And here's a great page from another magazine, How to Make Dolls. And last but not least, a nice journaling page and the original last few pages of the book, which are usually always blank, so I leave them in there for extra journaling. Is that fun? So this one is 55, but because this video was a disaster, I'm gonna say 50. First come, first serve. Thanks.